Hi guys, Melissa here, TCT Crafts. We're going to make something super fun, super spooky, starting to get into that Halloween, fall, well, Christmas too. Christmas in July, right? But we're going to make a super fun swag today. So we're going back to swag. I just love them. And we are going to be using this artificial pine swag base. We did have these in the shop, but they are all sold out. Just taking the tag off. But this is what we're going to be using today for our design. Just going to fluff the branches out. Okay. And you can see we're going to be using our Mr. Skull head here. And I'm going to start by adding some of this red and black mesh. We did have this in the shop. The item is RY8307E6. So I don't measure. I'm just going to drop it to the floor, pull it up, and around my belly button area, cut. So because our wreath form is black, we don't have to worry about covering up all of the tinsels. That's just going to help add to our design. So we won't need as much mesh as we normally would if we were trying to cover up a green artificial pine base. Okay, let me stop here, and if we need more, then I can add more. I just hold it up to my chest. I roll the ends in and then just walk it together. And I'm going to put the curl side down. So I'm going to do one up here at the top and the middle. Then I'm going to go around the sides. We can leave some spaces. We don't have to get every twist tie because this is black. So it just kind of adds to our decor here. Okay, let's do one more big one, and then I'm going to use a smaller piece. So I did cut at the end. Forgot to mention I cut 2 pieces of mesh that were just a little bit shorter, because down here at the end we want to keep that teardrop shape. So we're going to make the mesh a little bit smaller. Okay, now I'm going to start going back up the other side. Let me cut, let's see if one of these is a little shorter. Let me cut one other little short piece right at the bottom. And I say short, probably like 14 inches maybe, if I had to guess. Okay, put that one in down here. All right, now we're just going to start going back up the sides. Sorry if I sound so stuffy. I have been battling a sinus infection for weeks. I just got off antibiotics for it, but it's a little better, but it's not much better, so I'm all stuffy. think we may need to cut one more curl. Let's see. Yeah. All right, let me cut another one. Right in here at the top. And now we have our base. Actually, I'm going to put, right here in the center, we kind of got a hole. So let's add a couple pieces right in the center. Now this is thick. I think this is, yeah, it's cotton faux jute check mesh. So it's really nice thick mesh. If you use a cheaper mesh, you can. You're just going to need to use more of it because it's going to be thinner. So your curls aren't going to be quite as thick as what we got going on here. Perfect. So now we have our base. Okay. Let me show you how much we have. We have about that much mesh left. We can save it for another project. Okay, before we put Mr. Skelly's face on, I got these branches from actually Ross yesterday. They had these in their little Halloween section. So these are just some black faux branches. And I'm just going to lay this up here. I want to give this a little bit more height. So I'm going to have it kind of up here at the top. And I'm going to use the twist tie in a minute to tie them. We're going to add 2 of them. I'm going to come down just a little bit more for that one. I'm just going to fluff these out. We don't want them laying flat. We want them kind of sticking everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. I don't need it this long. Let me zoom in just a little and see if that helps. I don't know if that helps any. I'm just going to snip this. Okay. And we're going to tuck these down and twist these branches right around there. Let me get some up here. Just tie them off. Okay. And we'll add a little bit of glue just so they don't come untied. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. So I'm going to have one come down so that it adds some length down here at the bottom. And then the other one will go just a little bit above it. Cut this down because I don't need it that long. I'm going to twist this tie around it. And then I'm going to take this tie and twist around it. Perfect. And let me get one at the bottom just to kind of hold it in. Actually, before I tie that off, there's one more thing we're going to add in here, which I thought I should have thought of before I glued that. So let me untwist this. But I do have these little spooky looking mossy branches. I want to add a couple of those in there. So let me clip these down. I don't remember where I got these. I got these last year. You can totally skip this part if you just like to have the black, if you don't want to add any of the green. I just thought this kind of makes it look like maybe you're in the woods a little bit. Kind of spooky. Okay. So I cut it down into 3 pieces. So let's do 2 up at the top. And I'm just going to kind of have it catty corner just a little bit. Take this one, like right in there. I'm going to wrap this, tie around this branch. And then I'm going to get a zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie these together around where we tied in those other branches. So I'm going to zip tie all these together. Okay, now we'll do one at the bottom. Same concept. Just have it going down. And I'm going to slide this up under. Perfect. I'm going to get another zip tie. You can use pipe cleaner if you want to use pipe cleaner instead of a zip tie. Totally fine. Okay. Now let me cut that off. Now I'm just going to kind of move the black and intertwine it with this green so it doesn't look like the green's just sitting on top. Just going to move it around, twist it up in there. Some of this green in here. Perfect. Now I'm going to take now at the bottom and twist that tie around the stem at the bottom, and then we'll go add some glue. Okay, so let me add some glue around those zip tie areas and the twist tie. Okay, so I have 2 more of these bushes we will use to kind of fill in the sides around our skelly head once we get to that part. But for now, this is our base. Let me zoom back out. Okay, so I have this large skeleton head. I got it last year at JoAnn's. I'm not sure if they have them in yet, but we are gonna put him kind of catty-cornered in the center here. So I have taken a pipe cleaner and just wrapped it around his jaws so that we can secure him to the base. It looks, or I guess it sounds easier than it is, but we'll get it. We'll get it. And I want them kind of tilted just a little bit. So I'm actually going to twist this around this branch here. This one. And let me get the other side and then we'll tie it off in the back. That way it'll hold it for me and it won't be flopping around. Okay, so I'm going to take and twist this around one of the zip ties, or not zip ties, but one around of the pine ties. Okay, now I'm going to take this other part of the pipe cleaner down through the mesh. And let me get this other side and go down through the mesh, around the back of the swag, and then we'll tie him off. We'll add some glue to him too, but I just want to have him secured with the zip ties just because I don't want to just trust the glue since it's a large skeleton head. Okay, let me twist this off at the back. And there we go. Super cute. Before we glue him in though, we're gonna add the spooky mask. So I think I got this mask off of Amazon. So we're just gonna add the mask on him. And then we'll glue it once we get it on. Oh my gosh, you guys, so cute. Well, I say cute, you know what I mean. Spooky cute. I'm just gonna make sure I have the mask on like I want it before we glue it to the head. And I just added on the mask, I just took a little bit of red acrylic paint and just kind of smeared it so it just kind of looks like some blood on there. So I think that's good. So I'm actually going to glue his mouth shut. I'm going to hold it there for a second. That way this mask fits a little bit better like I want it. Okay. I'm going to take and glue this elastic down to the skull so that it doesn't come off. And I'm just using my Gorilla Glue sticks. I have not ever had a problem with stuff coming off using this glue. Not that it couldn't happen, but then I probably just jinxed myself. But it's really pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to add some glue around the skeleton head. Just to make sure that it stays put. Just going to hold it there for a second before we go any further, just to make sure it's not going to come off. Okay. While that's drying, we're going to make a bow. It's going to go right here. So I have a little bit of this fair silk ribbon. I'm going to attempt to make this by hand. If it does not work out, we'll get the bow maker out. So I want it fairly large. The loop's fairly large. You find some ties in here that I can use. Let me add I've got a 2.5 inch black and a 2.5 inch red and black Harlequin. So I'm going to add that to it. We'll make the loops a little bit smaller on this 2.5. About good. Make sure my loops are same size. Okay. Let me get a zip tie. Use a pipe cleaner. This is the part I always have the trouble with, is keeping this together when I'm trying to do them by hand. The bow maker, I got it pretty down, but this one still gets me sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and run it through the back. Okay. Cut the little end of the zip tie off there. Now I'm going to take and add this to, if I was better at making hand bows, you could have done this all in one step, but for me it's easier to put the 4.5 inch in first and then do the rest of it when I'm trying to do them by hand. I'm going to keep practicing, so we're going to get better, but for now, that's my attempt at a hand bow. Okay, just grab the pipe cleaners and twist it around the back. Okay. Now let's give our ribbon some dovetails. right, guys, this is what we have so far. Super fun. Now I want to take and add a little bit, just to kind of extend the tail down just a little bit. I'm going to take some of this black and some of this red and black, and I'm just going to pinch the end together. Drop these to the floor, and I'm going to find a twist tie underneath where I just put that bow. And if I don't find a twist tie, we can zip tie it, which I think is what we're going to have to do. So I'm going to zip tie it up to that branch that we added. Just going to take and zip tie that. Okay, cut the little tie off there. Okay, now I'm just going to dovetail these down here at the bottom. There we go. So now it just gave us a couple extra little tails down there. A couple extra little tails down there. I'm going to do the same thing up at the top. We're going to add some more tails. So I'm just going to pinch it together. See if I can find, now up here I actually have a twist tie. So I'm just going to lay this ribbon in this tie and twist it around. And then give it a dovetail. Okay, and I think I want to add another small bow right up here because we have sort of a little bit of a gap. I don't know if you guys can see that. We have a little bit of a gap right here. And I didn't bring anything else in here to add that would fill that. So let's add a little bow kind of off to the side. And I'm just going to use the 2.5 that we have. I'm going to see if I want to do a half bow or a full bow. Okay, we'll do a full bow. Make sure my loops are the same size, and they are. You guys see why I use the bow maker? To me, it's just easier. But I'm really trying to practice doing it by hand. Okay. Let me get my zip tie. And then before I tie it off too tight, we're going to add that pipe cleaner in the back so that we have something to attach the bow to the wreath. So I'm just going to add the pipe cleaner to the back. Now I can, see what I did? This is what happens. I have the hardest time keeping my loops when I go to do the zip tie part. So let's try it again. Just going to keep pinching it there and just fix this loop. Okay, let's try this again. Make sure I have it all. which it looks like I do. Okay. Add my pipe cleaner. Come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me fix my loops before I cinch that zip tie tight. Okay. All right, now I'm going to place this bow up here. I'm going to tie this pipe cleaner around these branches that we have in here. Okay, we'll cut that tail in a minute. Now what I'm going to do over here, I didn't cut this part of the ribbon off. I left it on there, so we're just going to take and make a loop. Find a twist tie in here and tie it off on the side. And let's see if I want to do one more loop. Nope. Okay, I'm going to cut it. And then we'll give it some dovetails. So on this side, we added our bow. I made a little loop, and then I just cut the tails. So up here, we're going to cut the tails. I'm going to save this little piece, we might use it. There we go. So on this side over here, since we have the loop on there, I want to put something over here. Let me see if I just want to do a tail. Yeah, I think I just want to do a tail. So I'm just going to pinch this together. Get one of this twist tie in there, twist it around. We can go back and add glue in a little bit. Let me pull it down. I think I want it longer at the bottom than the top. There we go. Okay. Now let's dovetail the ends. Now we have the little tail right here, and I think this spot right here to me looks like it needs some. So we're going to add a little tail right there. We're just going to do just a tail, and I don't measure. You can measure. You could measure out like a 12-inch tail, but I'm just going to stick it in there and then cut it once I get it in there. I just kind of see how long I want it. So I'm just going to dovetail here. And let's say right about there. Perfect. Okay. So now we have it on that side as well. Now we have this little plastic knife. with fake blood on it. So we're gonna get that added. And let me just see which side I want to add it on. If I want to add it there or over here. I think we're going to add it on this side, kind of right underneath the head. I'll turn it so you guys can see. We're going to add it like right in there. So let me get our glue. Put it here on the edge and stick it up underneath that skull. And hold it there for a second. See if you guys can see that. It's just, I'm letting that glue adhere. Once it's in place, I'll go add some more. Just to make sure it's not going to come out. Okay, let me add a little bit more at the top of the knife. And then I'll add some at the bottom. Seth, you want to come say hi?
Not really.
My son just walked in. Okay. I'm going to add some more up underneath this knife. We're almost done. Okay, so now we have, remember we have 2 of these left. So what I want to do is just break these up a little bit into little pieces, and we'll add them around the sides. Let me go back, zoom back out for you guys. I'm just cutting these into little pieces. So I think it's going to give us like 10 pieces or so.
It's like right there.
And now I'm just going to start adding these around the sides to kind of fill in. So I'm just going to dip it in my glue pot. Losing all my pieces. There we go. So add some around the face of the skull here. I'm going to add one kind of in the center of this bow, have it kind of coming out of the bow. You can see how I'm just sticking them kind of on the sides. And the good thing is, because we use that black base, the ties just kind of blend right in, and it looks like it's just some of these little black branches. Okay. Let's get a piece like right in here. May save these last little pieces for when I hang it up. Let me put one up under, let's put one up under his head here. There we go. Okay, and we have this large spider. Let's see if we want to place him somewhere in here. Thinking maybe maybe on this ribbon might be cute. Just right there at the bottom. Okay, let me get some glue. Let me just hold it on there for a second. Okay. I have this little black coffin. I got that off of Amazon. I'm just going to put it to the side right there and kind of fill in that hole on the side of his head. So let me just add some glue. And then I'm going to add some underneath, just so it touches the mesh and these branches. Hold it for a second. And then the last thing I have is I have these little black ornaments that I got last year after Christmas. And so I saved them for Halloween. And these are good little, just if you see little spots that kind of have like little holes, like little gaps, these are good little fillers. So I'm just taking the tops off. And I'm just going to go around and find some little holes and add an ornament. Just adds a little filler to it. So we've got one kind of right, put one right in there where that tail is. I think I'm going to add one of the small ones right to the center of the bow. Okay. And over here on the side of his face, I'm going to add this one. Let me add a little bit of glue so that his jaw touches that ornament. Grab these before they roll away. Okay, let's put one of these small ones up here at the top of this bow, right in the center. And let's see. I'm going to add one right up under his skull back here. There we go. What do we got? Just a couple left. Put one right here on the side. Oh, got a big one. Now this is a large design, so I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see when I hang it up. you'll be able to see a little bit better, but I'm gonna stick that one right there under the bow. Okay, so I think that's it, guys. We could actually add, a little bit of some spider webs to this if we wanted to. Just to give it a little bit more of a spooky vibe. Let me tear some of this off. And let's kind of drape this through some of these branches. Okay. Let's do the same on this side. Just pulling this and just stretching it all across and weaving it in some of these branches. Perfect. Love it. Super spooky. All right, guys, I think that's it. I've got a couple pieces left. Once I hang it up, if I see any little holes, I'll add them. Actually, I see one right now, so let me do it right up under his head. I'm gonna add one right there. There we go. All right, guys, here he is. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, bye, guys.